Did you
You
see?
know what just bumped into my head? You guys are gonna
Have a
die.
big appetite.
Where's that from?
Chris Tucker, Jackie Chan.
Which one? The Rush
Rush Hour?
Hour? The first one?
The massage parlor.
Oh. I haven't seen that movie in such a long time. That's a good movie, man. The other day,
This place is
my
off the
wife.
hook.
Yeah, my wife and I were watching it. We're like,
We watched it with Ari the other day. This place is off the hook. I remember that part. That was a good movie.
no, the best
Ari
part.
runs around saying Jintao now.
Yeah, Juntao.
On the Ibanas, you know, every single day during dinner, he's like to me, I don't understand. If Ricky Tan was shot, how did he come back? How did he get back?
Ricky Tan, he says. All right.
Imagine he dresses up like Ricky Tan for Halloween.
All right, so here we go. Listen, we're back. We're finally back after a little bit of an absence. You know, it's not. People think this is easy. This is not. This is not that easy, man.
Well, you know, the absence wasn't due to us not doing it. We had technical difficulties.
We had technical difficulties.
We couldn't salvage the episode. We're
Yeah.
you know, we're rookies in that aspect. So we're learning, we're growing, but you know, never give up, never
Yeah.
prevail, never surrender.
But we did manage to get these really cool hoodies and hats.
Yes, today's episode is
From,
sponsored by Straight Chillin'.
Straight Chillin''s pretty nice.
We support small businesses.
We tried to get Manny one, but he refused.
I got my own.
Yeah, that's what he said. So here we are.
So today's guest is Manny. Welcome again. To, you know, full disclosure, we're transparent with our viewers. Manny was here currently on an episode. Unfortunately, we couldn't salvage it, but he was kind enough to return.
Happy to talk about it again.
And we are so happy to have you again. So today's
Yeah.
episode is going to be even better. Bye.
So what's up, Manny? So why don't you tell our viewers what you do?
Well, first of all, Esty and Arden, thank you for having me here. I really am a big fan of your show, and I look forward to every time you guys have a topic to talk about. I feel like you guys always find a way to eloquently discuss some of the things that are going on and update people on what's been going on in pop culture and in the community in general. So
I appreciate
keep
that.
going. Shout out to Straight Chillin', you know, for the gear. Sorry, I just,
Yeah.
you know, I'm in the process of getting one too, okay?
We gotta get your size. That's all.
Yeah, so, we recorded an episode before, and I was happy to have that conversation, and, I think there are some important things that, we should learn as people in order to develop, right? So, I'm a behavior therapist. I get to work with kids and in a way rediscover who I was and am still as a kid in my heart, and continue moving on in life about the beat. And so many times in life we tend to focus on achieving success in many different ways, and I'm proud of everybody who's doing all the different things that they can in our community and in every community, you know, starting small businesses, finding alternative ways of making revenue, maybe being a motivation in their community themselves. And that's what I think is unique about our people in the time that we're given right now, especially in this strange post-COVID, during COVID situation, you know.
Right.
So having said all that, it's just a way for me to be on here and have a platform to talk to you guys about it is really cool.
Yeah, and the reason why I initially, you know, I was talking to you about it on the phone, I said, hey, you know what, you'd be a great candidate for the show because as you guys know, we were doing a segment on substance abuse, and a lot of the people that had reached out had asked, you know, where does the disconnect happen? Where we want to understand, and one of the biggest things that we want to bring to the table is education on this topic, right? And the education is supposed to be something that you can use on a day-to-day. So people really want to understand, where does the disconnect happen? Is it the friends in school? Because a lot of people say, oh, it's the parents, oh, it's the home, oh, it's this. But really, when I talk to behavioral therapists such as yourself, they really come out and say, hey, this is from childhood. A lot of it stems from childhood, a lot of it stems from trauma. And it's not just substance abuse, it can go from, you know, mental health issues, all these other things. So touch up on that. Where do you think the disconnect happens, especially if you work with kids at that age range?
I feel like there's a range of disconnections that people can have with their children and with themselves, most importantly, right? And then you can start to begin to focus on other aspects of the child's life as well. So I think the disconnect starts when people have maybe an expectation for themselves and an expectation for their children and the way that they see the world coming, and maybe we just need to adjust to the way that things are coming at us, you know? So in the way that, shout out to all the behavior therapists, there's a lot of us out here, and we're trying to make a difference in the world with these kids' lives, you know? And it's a thing that I can see is progressive in people, and they want to improve their lives. So the way that I feel like the disconnect comes from is feel like the disconnect comes from people maybe not seeing who. Well, I'm just.
Well, no, we were talking about how you were like, these kids pretty much they lose their purpose. And before that even happens, they lose that relationship with the mom or dad because of a variety of reasons. So that can happen from so many different things, right? It could happen from
What are the main things? Like, is there something that's like known? It's like one of the big things. What are the biggest factors?
So, the biggest thing to happiness is love, and for a child, it's important to have love. And when you get into the way that a child develops, there are milestones and there's experiences that children are supposed to meet in order to develop into healthy adults. And on our journey to becoming adults, we are influenced by different aspects of the social life. You have like religion, you have the social construct, which is your friendships. There's also the entire government that you're living under, which is the political side,
Right.
which is the political side of things,
Mhm.
And I feel like there's a lot of influence on people from advertisements all around us. And if you ask the majority of young people, do you like Instagram? They'll probably say like they do, But in reality, if they understand that freedom is outside of this square box, it gives them anxiety, right?
So are you saying that the kids that are more troubled or grow up that way lack love as children from people that they wanted love from? For example, their parents, let's say.
Yeah, a child has an inherent need, and we as people have an inherent need to be loved and provide love.
Yeah, you have to show affection to your children. It's very important.
It's very important.
And you have to spoil them with love, not possessions.
Yeah,
And
but
I
then
think
what-
where a lot of the disconnect comes from, right? Parents today are really forced to work, both mom and dad. I feel like because of the expectations of what the income should be, mom and dad are working, right? You have schools that are indoctrinating children. You're not raising them correctly. The school system is broken. A lot of people will agree. It's not even about politics. The school system is broken. Kids aren't coming out more successful from an 8-hour a day. It's and not all kids are learning like that. You have to take into consideration. There's visual learning. There's auditory learning. There's tangible learning. There's all these different things. Kinetic learning. But you're forced to do this model that was really built like 100 years ago, 150 years ago, and you're not raising the children. You're at work all day, and when you get home, you have to cook, you have to take care of the house that houses these children, and who's raising them? Then you have these rugrats that are entitled, and you don't understand what's going on. There's aggression because you're not spending the time with them. And this is not me like berating anyone. This is a problem in our society. I have this problem as well. Like I do everything in my power to make my schedule that's around my children because
Yeah, but okay. But let's look at the bigger picture, because there are children that grew up normal. So not everyone's being neglected.
that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's possible. So
Of course it's
where's
possible.
so where's like
That's what I'm saying. Like, where's the disconnect? Is it always that? But it's obviously not, right?
yeah, but
It's
are you as an expert, is that like a big thing? Like is like
well, when we say lack of
Fe-
love in our community, what does that look like?
I would sum it down to misunderstanding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like parents misunderstand their children.
Yeah, that's what I'm explaining. Because back then it was tough love. Over here, that's really construed maybe like borderline abuse a little bit. Like you have,
Negative reinforcement.
negative reinforcement, and like I see it all the time. I see dads that just don't. They're not gonna. Over here we have participation trophies. You know what I mean? And we just didn't grow up like that. So there's obviously gonna be a disconnect with what society expects and what they want to how our parents grew up and how they expect us to just have immediate gratitude, right? Like, oh, you should be grateful. And I hear that so many times, and so many parents reach out like, I don't understand why my kid feels so entitled. Why are they so ungrateful? Like,
what
they
about
don't
abuse? Tell me about abuse. Like, is physical abuse?
I think verbal abuse is like really rampant in our community.
Neglect.
Neglect.
Well, neglect, verbal abuse, and no love falls into one basket. It's all under non-physical.
Gaslighting, toxic
They're the same
tendencies.
thing. What about physical trauma, right? Parents that beat their children, for example. I'm not talking about a beating to like a. Again, all beatings are bad. But I'm not talking like brutal beatings. I'm talking about like maybe hitting on the butt, like a couple of times, things like that.
Well,
Are those kids?
Aren't those kids more
Well,
tendency
I
to
don't
like
know.
do drugs because they're like they want to
Are
numb,
they?
want to numb the pain, like they
Are they?
The
Do you see
the
that?
optimal situation would be to like not have that kid have to do all that. Just be able to like not be abused. right? And so I feel like that is already like a tragedy, you know, because all test results show that positive reinforcements yields the superior result to any kind of like abuse or growth in that kind of context, whether negative reinforcement or like just ignoring the child or saying you're gonna do this and then or you're not gonna have this. Instead, you should just be saying, let me find a way to get the child to do this with me, and then I'll give them something positive and encourage that positive behavior with a positive result, and start reprogramming the neurons in the brain to start looking for more healthy tendencies, you know? So they can boost their little dopamine levels and just be happy kids listening to their parents. It's not always easy. When I work with kids, it takes a lot of, you know, help from the parents. It's all the parents, because I'm there for several hours and then they're gonna be with the kid not only then, but for life. And the techniques that we do, this is something that anybody can do with their hands. You just have to be willing to hand over hand, help the kids find a way to do it, and connect with some kind of connection.
And how do you think parents can connect with their kids? Like, how do you think they can connect with them and also in a way give them something useful to use in their life? Like, I feel like the biggest thing that I can do is probably teach my kids about money, because I never learned it in school. It was never even taught in school. It's something I had to learn like later in my I wouldn't say late adulthood, but like early, to young adulthood. I had to like kind of learn it then. I didn't learn it when I was younger, when it could have really benefited me. Now, you know how to handle money. You also have a Discord. So what would you say, like, right there's that connection. What would you say if there's parents that wanted to connect with their kids in a better way? How would you teach them to do that when it comes to teaching them about money?
About money, you should really look at their own personal.
Do me a favor, turn your mic towards you. Yeah, more. But yeah, perfect.
This?
Yeah, excellent. Just so they can hear you better.
So what they should do with their financial component, if they want to set themselves up and their children, is to maybe take some time to look around them, see what companies they recognize in real life. Pause. Look at those companies and ask if you like agree with those companies. If you like,
If you believe in them.
yeah, like if you see that they're going to be a need at some point, now or in the future, and from that, like, wait for it to lose a lot of money. Just wait for the thing to lose, because at some point, one way or another, no matter how much the stock goes up, it's gonna come down because people are gonna take profit. And then that lies another opportunity for a person to get it at that low price and go back up with it. So depending on what kind of investment you want to set up for yourself and your family, it's worth to looking into different options. Like that's what I trade on Discord is options, which is essentially, it's kind of like pre-ordering. It's like pre-ordering sneakers and then selling the ticket for the sneakers when the sneakers are expensive, instead of buying the sneakers and flipping them.
So what's your channel about? What do you guys do?
I look at the overall market, at companies that I know about.
Right.
Everybody knows about these companies: Netflix, Amazon, Google, Facebook. And there's a couple other companies that are smaller. Microsoft, Advanced Micron Devices, like just Boeing Airlines.
Right.
There's Rite Aid, Starbucks. Wendy's has a stock, believe it or not. It's WEN.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, all the stuff that we see and use basically every day.
Yeah.
Those are like the
commercialized. And then
right.
you start wondering, like, okay, where's the influence coming? Which of these things are going to be used, maybe politically even, that would yield some sort of financial gain for it? Like you can look at the history and see, like, during which presidents what stocks were thriving, and then see who their vice president was, and you could see that they're going to pump those same stocks, and if that person gets elected. So, like, Biden was Obama's vice president, so I looked up what stocks were pumping
Under Obama.
and now that Biden is president, it's basically like
Similar policies.
Similar
Right.
principles. So
Similar people win. Yeah. Pretty
So,
smart.
Yeah.
You do your own diligence. You look at a stock, figure out, okay, is this a good price? Maybe I'll wait. I'll see if it goes lower, and if I believe in this company, I'm gonna hold it, right? So you shouldn't have any problem with it. You should also put aside money for like how much you think is okay to invest. You shouldn't be putting away your money or your hard-earned cash into something that you haven't studied, like the professional. And I'm not a professional, and I take losses every day.
Yeah, that's how I feel like in crypto. I feel like I know everything, but I keep losing money.
So if you want to get into, you know, crypto, it's the same thing that's going to apply. Right now, those people that haven't gotten into it, that really believe in crypto, should be looking at this maybe as an opportunity to do enough research and start a position. Okay, I have a certain amount of money, I'm gonna take a certain amount of money, put half now. If it goes down, I'll put another half of that. And a third time. And that's it, that's my exposure. I set aside 5 bands, 10 bands, $100, $200, separated it, bought it several times. If it didn't go my way, I lost $500. I lost $1,000. That's what I did today with yesterday with the Facebook post.
Yeah, you're a massive. Tell us about this little play you made,
So
sir.
I did a chart on Facebook, and I just said, you know, if it loses a certain level, I want to short it to 280.
And it was where?
It was at 320.
It was at 320.
I took a 280 put for the February 11th, next week.
Yeah, this guy bet against Facebook on earnings,
That was a cool play.
right? On
Mr.
earnings.
Humble.
The first earnings of 2022, or is it Q4 earnings? Q4 earnings. Q4 earnings? Q1 of 22. Already? We're in February.
Q1, yeah, February.
Q1. He said I'm gonna short these guys. That's a bold. I mean, yeah,
maybe
you didn't.
Q4, maybe you're right.
It
man,
could
I
be
don't
because
know.
Q1 is usually after March, but whatever. Doesn't matter. And you basically took a short position and you risked what? What was it? $1,000? $1,000. You bought how many? Five contracts.
$5 contracts.
5 contracts.
250, and they went to 3,700.
Damn.
Each.
So good.
At the morning, I couldn't sell them before. Usually, I would take profit. I would have probably never even made it to this point.
Yeah, if it
You
was
think
during
you
the
would've-
day.
you would've-
yeah.
It was during the day because
You would've taken
know,
out
I know,
quickly.
like, okay, Facebook people are gonna start buying this thing, you know.
And then it goes right back up.
Yeah, sometimes, and sometimes.
I got
sometimes
screwed like
they
that a
don't.
couple times. Yeah.
Well, everybody gets shafted in the market. That's
Yeah.
how you learn. You know, I didn't go to school for this. You go to school in the market.
No, yeah, no, it's a great channel. I learn a lot. I read a lot, and I like that you can be part of like a community where you know.
What's the cost? Yeah. What are the?
You're
Tell them
comparing.
about.
So usually it's $150 a month, but if they join through the Hard Truth podcast, like and subscribe, you know,
Nice.
I'll give them a discount. They pay $59.99.
Oh,
You know, $90 off.
look at that.
Wow, that is very generous.
We
Thanks,
did that.
Denny.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm gonna put up your stuff like in the
Awesome.
description, so if anybody
Yeah,
wants,
we'll
you know,
have
put your
everything
you got
down
an
there.
Instagram, right? So we'll have people hit you up. I
And it's a
mean,
pretty cool chat, guys. I'm in
I
there.
like,
Check it out.
I like people to send me their ideas, and I'll help them form a strategy. They don't even have to put much to see. Like,
Yeah,
if
they can
believe
even
in
try
this-
for like a month if you
There's
don't like
logic
it.
behind it. I didn't play the Facebook on earnings because of earnings.
I know.
I looked at the chart and I was like, listen, I'm expecting it to go like, if I put 1,000, I thought I was gonna get 1,500 back.
All right.
It went to 3,700 each times 5. You know, like,
How low did it go? You said,
how what?
how low did it go?
It was the
Facebook? It went from
26%.
320 to 240, 239, but I already got out at 247. It came out, bounced up a little bit. I was like, I'm out of it.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
it.
expecting $500, not this. Over 15 bands. It was nuts.
Sick.
That's so nice. That's what's
Keep
up.
that in there. Well, it's
So that's what
capital
I'm saying.
gains
You just
tax.
gotta,
bitch.
like, you know, do your due diligence.
Yeah.
Look around.
So you had a good week.
Good day.
Whoopi Goldberg can't say the same thing. You guys,
Well,
you
she
guys see
did-
what this asshole did?
Yeah,
on
I
the
wouldn't say
show?
she had a bad week. I mean, they didn't even fire her.
I know. I hope they do though, because they're getting a lot of heat. For anyone that doesn't know, Whoopi Goldberg was saying on her show that she didn't feel that the Holocaust was due to race, and she felt that it was for man's inhumanity towards other men. And a lot of people obviously are really, really pissed off that it's like a really ridiculously ignorant thing to say.
Yeah.
And I'm pissed off that, like you said, that she's really just getting a slap on the wrist. They gave her 2 weeks to kind of think about her actions, and then nothing. It's such a fucking double standard. With the left. I can't, you know, and I can't help but say it. It's such a double standard. Roseanne said something that was fired
They
right
went.
on the
They
spot.
went by. Yeah, they went for the throat.
They go for the jugular right away. You can't say the wrong thing
Yeah.
when you have these kind of platforms. And what's her face? Remember Kelly Osbourne? She said, "Who's gonna clean your toilets, Donald Trump?" And right away they were like, "Oh!" And she's like, "No, I meant," like, she tried to backpedal. Did you ever see
like
that
really
clip?
quickly. I didn't see that clip. No.
Oh my God! So she also got booted right away. They were pissed off about that, and that was also the show. But you know what? This one, for some reason, they're not touching her. I don't understand why.
First off, let me just say, the woman on The View, there are 4 of them, right?
They're all idiots.
They're
okay?
fucking stupid. Okay, why are people watching these morons?
Because they align
They
with
are
their
for
ideas. I don't know.
fucking.
I can't get through an episode.
And you know what's crazy? Women, there are very smart and powerful women out here that are moving shit in this
Hell
world.
yeah, bitch!
Why the fuck are women watching morons?
The most historical kings, the most successful, are those that listen to their queens.
Yeah.
No, that's right.
Pipe down. Listen. This is the problem. You see, this is the problem. You give the woman a finger, they're gonna want to take the whole goddamn arm. You understand?
It's a nice song.
It's a big arm. You like everything big. Listen.
Have some truffle chips. All right.
Why is Whoopi Goldberg with a fake ass Jewish last name?
Her name is Karen Elaine Johnson.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you know
that's
that?
her real name.
That's
yeah,
her real
I
name.
know. That's her stage
Guys,
name, Whoopi
Goldberg
Goldberg.
is her stage name.
She probably
Fun
used the
fact.
Jewish last name to get
Karen.
into Hollywood to begin with.
Listen, I don't even understand why she would say that. That's really ignorant.
She was good at Ghost. That's it. That's as far as I'm going.
No,
with Whoopi
she
Goldberg.
was a good. Listen, I'm not gonna sit here and knock her entire career, but this shows a very, very valuable
You're right.
lesson.
She was very good. You're right.
No, it shows a very valuable lesson. No, I'm serious.
I'm
No,
trying to do what the left does.
I'm
you
not
know,
gonna.
just
Yeah, I'm not
fuck
gonna all of a
her.
sudden. Oh, she was always terrible. I hated her. She was always shit. No,
Burn her
that's not true.
DVDs. Burn her DVDs.
No, Sister Act was.
No, Sister Act was good.
Come on,
that
stop
was
it.
yeah. The dancing and everything, yeah.
Joyful, joyful.
All right. Don't.
I feel like this brings up a real big problem though in the grand scheme of things, because like somebody like Whoopi Goldberg on The View, who's really liberal, is now being ostracized.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
It's like, how do you think she feels right now? She's like, I'm getting burned for this.
It's a double.
What do you mean? She came out on the Colbert Show the next day and was like, "I said what I said." Like, you know,
So that's to my point, her ego.
exactly.
And she's taking it for it.
Exactly, but if God forbid it was the other way around, it was no, you have to be inclusive to all feelings. You can't say that. Your words are against the law. Get out of here.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying look how bad it's gotten. Like look at on the whole.
Yeah.
Nobody
Because
is
it
safe.
cannot be a double standard. If that's the case, you have to fire her. If you're firing people for saying the wrong thing, then it has to go both ways. You're mad quick to fire conservatives and cancel them. I'm saying it how it is. You have to play fair on both sides then.
And you
She
look at
said
what happened to Joe
something.
Rogan.
Exactly. Look, Spotify wants him taken off. No,
No,
actually, no, I'm
no,
sorry.
no,
It was the
Spotify's
musician, Neil
protecting
Young.
him.
Yeah, Spotify said, no, we're sorry. We made the decision.
First
We're
of
going to
all-
keep him on. Sorry. I
Spotify's
misspoke.
down 25 points, by the way.
I misspoke.
They don't care.
Don't freak out.
It's okay. They made $5 billion when he came on, so
They pay him
they're
$20
good.
million a year.
First, let's
So
start.
They lost 25 points in the stock today.
I know. First of all, you have to understand one thing. These people that are going, look who's going after Joe Rogan, right?
Mm-hmm.
The media is going after Joe Rogan. Why? Because there are more people listening to Joe Rogan than any media outlet, period. The guy has 100 million listeners. Spotify pays only one person, have one contract, and that's with Joe Rogan. Nobody else. None of the musicians have contracts with Spotify. Do you understand? They approached him. They didn't approach nobody else ever. People put their music on their platform. You see the difference? So they took him in. He's not touchable.
They gave me chills.
He's not doing anything wrong.
Yeah, he's not doing it's freedom of speech.
He's stating his opinions, right? And people don't like the opinions, don't listen. It's very simple,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And
And
borderline, what they say is misinformation and disinformation.
right.
Well, it's
So
information that they don't like.
right. So who are they to say what's misinformation or disinformation?
Who's the watcher? Who's watching?
You know, Neil Young
Exactly.
is sponsored by Pfizer.
No. Neil Young's music was bought out by Blackstone.
Mm-hmm.
You know Blackstone? Huge, one of the biggest hedge funds. The capital or VC firms, they're huge, like huge. They bought out his music like a year ago, maybe 2020 or 2019, maybe earlier. I'm not sure exact year. And when he started all this shit with Rogan, I'm gonna pull my music from Spotify. People started digging in and found out that BlackRock is the one that's responsible for essentially putting in the CEO of Pfizer.
Mm.
So you have a guy that has a #1 streaming platform, 100 million listeners, the biggest. He had the 2 shows with the 2 doctors.
Yeah.
Each, I think, was, if I'm not wrong, I think it was 50 million each episode, and growing because people are even stoking it more. People are like, what the hell is this Joe Rogan? How good is this guy? That so many people are talking about him. I'm gonna go listen. People started listening. They're like, yo, maybe this is a good thing. Maybe more people will listen to those podcasts and realize, holy shit,
Yeah.
this is not
This
what
is
they
a
told
great
us.
thing. This is what they don't want.
So now they're killing him. You understand? They're trying to get him now.
Yeah, I was actually surprised they let him on for that long, because he was already starting to kind of, question all of this already for a while.
I didn't know that he had a spot.
Really?
About that YouTube channel.
Oh, good. No, so he was on YouTube, but this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they
Spotify
took
came
down-
to him and said, "We're gonna give you, I think it was
It's
100
not
plus."
on YouTube now?
Nope. His
No.
clips are on YouTube. The episodes are strictly full episodes are only Spotify.
Yeah,
He was probably
So if they drop him, he has no outlet.
but they won't drop him.
he's
I'm
gonna
just saying,
he's
I'm
gonna
just
start
saying.
his own outlet. His right now he doesn't
Right.
need nobody.
Yeah, he really does.
You understand? But the ad revenue that's coming from him and the user constant active users, us, is consistent with somebody like him. Why would you want to drop him?
How many listeners are there?
100 million.
He has 100 million
Makes
a
a
month.
lot of money, yeah.
A
If
month.
you just ask for $100 from each minute, he'll be fucking loaded.
It's not. He's fine. But it's like, why are they attacking somebody that did nothing wrong?
Because they don't like what he's
This
saying.
is the White House came
Because
out.
it's dangerous, because he's not controllable by them. That's why.
Yeah,
They don't
but
want someone that does not.
how does the
have
White
message-
House come out and say, who's the White House? The White House has no say in
I don't
private
understand
business.
how people don't see this. Laissez-faire
A lot of
doesn't
peop-
apply at all this generation.
Pe-
Laissez-faire is not applying at all. Look at what's happening. They're completely involved. You're going to tell your employees what to do. You're going to have 100 people or more. You're going to have a mandate. This has been from the get-go. I always felt crazy, because they're all of a sudden involved in everyone's business, and they want to get more involved. The IRS, they want to scan everything now. They want to be able to track you. We literally handed over our privacy at some point,
No,
so we can
we're
watch.
we're not there yet. It's getting worse.
It's gonna get there.
It's getting worse.
I feel like we already did. I feel like we signed our lives away when we download these apps and these phones.
Well, we
Somewhere.
do. We
That's
do.
it.
It's
Somewhere in there, it's done.
Data.
Exactly.
Data.
And you
Yeah.
just said the right things. Just really did.
You like that, yeah?
Fuck me up.
Powerful shit.
You know, Stanley Kubrick. If you ever seen that movie, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys watch that movie?
No, I did. I heard about it though. I
About
heard
this
about it.
black prison thing descends from space, and chimpanzees find it, and then it's the cultivation of humanity, modern day humanity afterwards.
Oh wow.
But at the same token, like, it looks like a TV sideways. Like a TV sideways, standing side, like a TV like this. And like, we have that in front of us on our phones. People put locks on their doors so that strangers don't come into their house and ruin what they have going on.
Wow.
But those computer screens, the laptop that these whippersnappers have, you know, really like allows anything into their home. There's no lock on that door.
Correct. Unlimited access.
You don't know who's creeping into your child in your own mind with what you're watching.
Well, that's what I mean. It's gonna get worse. This whole metaverse thing is gonna just amplify this.
Yeah.
People have no idea what's happening right now. They've been working on this for a while apparently, and they're starting to get to the point where it's becoming super realistic.
Do you understand that they're actually sending VR headsets as gifts to people?
Yeah, because they wanna.
They want, and people are like, oh my god, how cool! They're gonna review them. Other people are gonna start buying them. Yeah, Facebook is sending out gift sets.
Yeah.
Consumer question.
Mm.
If I were to tell you that Facebook was coming out with a VR headset, or Apple was coming out with a VR headset, augmented reality and metaverse,
Mhm.
which would you as a consumer invest in instead? Well, not invest, buy, purchase.
Wait, say that again.
A VR headset or what?
Yeah, like, okay, so like metaverse, right, is gonna be through VR headsets.
Mm-hmm.
So, if Facebook came out with a VR headset and Apple came out with a VR headset, which would you prefer as a user?
Apple,
Apple.
100%.
But you know what? I feel
But
like
that's because I'm woke.
That's why Facebook is that way. They're thinking about long-term things.
Maybe.
Facebook don't have a physical thing that they develop. Instagram and
Oculus. Well, they bought Oculus.
okay, but it's not in the same generating factor as like Apple. Apple has a whole factory that does produce things.
Correct.
You know, it would be easier
But-
for them to streamline something.
But when they get into the metaverse, they're gonna start. He's spending $10 billion a year.
Yeah.
Dude, they calculated. These people are not stupid. They do math.
10 billion?
They do statistics. Fucking 100 years out, what's happening, what's gonna happen, who's who.
Yeah.
If they
They do
realize,
simulations.
yeah, and you have to understand. They came to the conclusion that if they're gonna
Super
spend,
It's super
yeah,
cheap.
10 billion a year for 10 years.
I
It's
keep
crazy.
blowing him away. He's like, that's 2 for 2. They do simulations. And you know what's making me nervous is the simulations they're doing right now.
What are you talking about?
Cyber attack.
What?
Right. They're doing simulations on a cyber attack.
So
What would
why?
we do in the event that there is a major catastrophic cyber attack? Where everything goes down. What do we do?
That's crazy.
For a long period of time too. What if your business is on social media? Everything goes down. What if
People are gonna start fighting.
people are gonna start fighting?
All hell's gonna break loose.
All hell's gonna break loose. And I
100%.
think that that's something they should be prepared for, because what if everything gets too decentralized and they wanna shut it down?
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna comment.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't. I'm just straight chillin'. Guys, this episode is brought to you by Straight Chillin'.
I'm straight chilling.
They have
I'm
shirts,
straight.
they have hoodies, they have
Honestly,
hats.
it's mad comfortable.
I actually really like it because it's very warm. It reminds me of the old school ones from Abercrombie. Like, but it's not as like heavy as
They're
them.
light.
This is like nice and sturdy though. So I really love it. Thank you so much, Evan. We're gonna list everything in the description below. And Manny's Discord will be in the description below. Manny, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys.
It was great,
It
man.
was a
Thanks.
great episode. Thank you for the education. I hope we had a good vibe.
It was awesome.
And we'll hope to have you again.
Let's do it.
All right.